Hello everyone, my name is John Michael Bushman and welcome back to Master Duel. The format is saved. I was gonna say the company is saved, but no, we have bigger. That's an entirely different kind of worms right there. But is the format saved? Well, most people agree on that. And yeah, this ban list, I am like way too late when it comes to covering this on time because of my recording schedule. But as you can see here, this is a ban list that quite literally had the entire community saying, finally, we have a good Master Duel ban list. Are there still problems? Of course there are, but this is hopefully a step in the right direction because this actually also proves that Konami does indeed know that there are problems with Master Duel, but they're just choosing not to act on it for some reason or another. So yeah, I mean, what can I already say that hasn't already been said by a lot of content creators out there? I am just an average player right here. A lot of these hits actually, most people say, are hits to K9 before it even hits Master Duel. This just means that Konami knows that there are problems, and the fact that they're addressing it now rather than later is just proof of that, isn't it? So yeah, Apollo USA getting the axe is going to be sad for people who rolled for the alt art, but fortunately or unfortunately, I didn't get the alt art, so I'm not too worried about dusting my Appaloosa come November 7th. And by the time you're actually also seeing this, it will probably already be it'll be November 7th, so the ban list changes will be up and about by then. And yeah, losing one Called by the Grave is, I mean, not nothing, but most people say that stuff like this should actually just be banned, and then ban Maxi as well, because Maxi is the thing that's quite literally keeping everything down in Master Duel. And the limit to Jessica is definitely weird because this is the card that not most people only really run one of, but I guess with the changes to the consistency of Maliss, they probably saw that more people run 3 copies of Chessicat and allows the Maliss player to draw into non-engine. So I guess limiting it to 1 is something, but you don't really need more than 1 copy of that thing. It's essentially a soft brick in the deck, and yes, I have tried more than 1 copy off camera, so yeah, it is a soft brick. Everything else is, I mean, Ryzel hits, there's like K9 hits, and anti-spell fragrance is just a ticking time bomb that finally was taken out of the back of the shed before it could cause any further problems. Yeah, and this is a really good ban list. I mean, that's me just parroting what other content creators have already said. So as much as I want to go into the casual rooms, I'm actually going to play the 60 card variant of Maliss, and it did make a few changes. So here we are with the 60 card version of Maliss that I have been rocking, and I already applied a lot of the ban list changes here. So we only have 2 Drone Lockbird, and we have 1 Chessicat, but this version had 2, so having just 1 definitely hurts a little, but it does have the Horus engine, which we added a 3rd name in Duamutef because a player at the shop saw that I only had 2 in Happy and Imseti, and they said, you need 3 names at the very minimum when you're running a Horus engine in your deck. And they even said that you don't really need 3 King Sarcophagus, you really only need 2 because it's just an engine piece, but I prefer the odds of just drawing into 1, so there is that. And there's no Apollo USA, and it's been replaced by Nightmare Cerberus. So yeah, 60 card Malice for this video here, and watch me F this up because this deck can just lose to itself. Won the Dairo at least, so let's see what kind of board I can make. An opponent is also on a 60 card train, and ooh, this is an interesting opening hand. We can bait out stuff my opponent is gonna do. We have Malice Underground in hand anyway, so we can definitely do some unfair stuff here. We're gonna start with Imseti. We're gonna send White Rabbit to the graveyard. Oh no! Why would I do that? You're gonna Ash there. Wow, opponent, why? That is not the problem, good sir. Imseti is not the problem here. You know what? We're gonna see what other stuff you have in there. But I mean I could, but triple attack is only really here to draw 2 cards. So, and they already used their Ash. So triple attack here to draw 2, and it draws me into garbage. Shit. But we do have a 1 card starter anyway in Malice in Underground. Then we do that, and then we banish Dormouse here. And yeah, I'm just gonna combo. I was gonna combo off, but you know, 60 cards versus 60 cards, and I drew one of my one-ofs. That's just the thing with these grass decks. Let's move on to the next duel. My opponent made me go second, so that's already immediately concerning. Let's see what we draw into. Again, Imseti and White Rabbit, the OTP that I didn't know I needed. So we're gonna use Maxi here. This cockroach just needs to die, but sadly, Konami just doesn't want to squash it for some weird reason. But yeah, we have an insane opening hand. We can use Imseti to try and bait out Ash Blossom from my opponent's hand here, but if they do manage to set Called by the Grave, which will be limited to one by the time you're watching this video, yeah, they could still stop my shenanigans, unfortunately. But if my opponent's connection is not going to withstand the awesome power of Max C, then it is extremely understandable. But my opponent's just setting 2, setting 3. They could be setting even more. I'm not sure which, but we will find out soon enough. We're going to see here. Let us see. We're gonna find out if this gets anywhere, which, I mean, we'll see. I mean, they're just setting cards, and they still have 2 cards. They're probably trying to figure out if they're going to even try to do their combos here, or they're just going to hope and pray that they survive to the next turn. Or, you know, the typical stuff with here on Master Duel is they're even setting they are like Y setting or W setting. I'm not sure which one. But we'll see. We have Signet Mining, which is an awesome card. We only can really use Dominus Impulse once per turn, so we're going to see if we can bait shit out. We're going to use Signet Mining here, and we're going to send one of the impulses. Again, we can only really use one of these things per turn anyway, so discarding one of them is unfortunately a choice that we have to make. This should raise some alarm bells with my opponent because I'm running 60 cards here, and that I did not expect that to push through. Now we're going to use Dormouse, I guess. Or we can also use March Hare. We can get March Hare here because we're going to discard Imseti. Yeah, we're going to get March Hare. And then we're going to use Imseti's effect to discard the White Rabbit, and they know they know I have a March Hare in hand, so that should like set them off immensely. That if you negate Imseti here, I'm going to use March Hare to combo even further, in spite of you trying to stop me. But we'll see if my opponent is smart enough to realize that they are taking their sweet ass time with their turns anyway, so I'm going to have a sip of water because my throat's feeling a bit itchy as of late. So we'll be right back once my opponent takes an action. Okay, so my opponent is taking their sweet ass time and doing their turn, but I am very concerned as to what their back row is going to contain. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to try to go into combat, and we're going to swing into their face down and see if that will amount to anything. Opponent allows it to happen, their connection notwithstanding, and Imseti is a decent attacker as well, so we're going to see what they're hiding under there, if it's anything to be concerned about. If it is something that I need to be concerned about, we have maybe just one piece of reaction that we can do. So this will send it to the graveyard, prevent it from being destroyed. Oh, it's Glad Beasts. Okay. That is an interesting choice there. So now we're going to try to combo Chameleon off. I am not sure if they have anything in their back row that will allow a Gladiator Beast to try and do their thing, or rather, I don't know if they have any back row that isn't requiring a Gladiator Beast to be on the field. So I'm pretty sure we have just shut them off of like 90% of their interaction, because if I remember correctly, the latest support for Glad Beasts can work independent of a Glad Beast being on the field, but I can be sorely misremembering stuff, which is very prone to me these days, apparently. Now we have White Rabbit, and we're going to try to get a Maliss trap. I've only shaved it down to the 2 that is honestly the important ones that are necessary for Maliss. The third trap is honestly just really bad. You won't really need it. So there's that. Now that that happened, a lot of their monsters are going to be huge. So what we can do is we just go into Transcode Talker, surprisingly, because a lot of the Glad Beasts have relatively low attack. Or what we can do is, I mean, we're under skill drain, so we're not going to be able to do too much anyway. But we can just have a lot of materials, so we're going to see here. Link Decoder's effect activates in the graveyard anyway, so it's not going to be too big of a problem. And we will need, unfortunately, the Dominus Impulse here. So that will be something. We can go into White Binder, we can go into Red Ransom, but those guys and gals are not exactly going to do anything anyway. So yeah, we can just go to Transcode Talker and hopefully get somewhere with that. But I don't really think it's going to matter here. We could just leave Imseti on the field and hopefully we get somewhere with this. Hopefully. So yeah, we're just going to leave it as is. Espilita Knight is a decently sized attacker, so I think that's going to get somewhere. Imseti again is not going to do too much, but hopefully he'll be able to do enough. Again, we're going to need Dominus Impulse here, so we're sadly going to have to discard the Crossout Designator. We're going to send the Happy to our graveyard, because I believe this is the one that does something. Yeah. Happy, we're going to send him, and then we're going to summon him out of the graveyard, and then I think that'll be it. Because skill drain is going to be a massive world of hurt for us, so we're going to see if we're even going to put the Dominus Impulse here, because we're going to play around the Imperm columns. So yeah, I think this board is going to be enough for us here. I'm just going to wait and see if my opponent does anything interesting, especially again, they're taking their sweet ass time. I don't know how salty they are, I don't know what their internet connection is, so I'll just clue you guys back in once he does something interesting. Won the Daryl, and my previous opponent unfortunately lost their connection, so we are going up first, and we drew the elusive That Grass Looks Greener. So let's roll that slot machine and see if we roll for it. And we milled quite a lot. Actually, not as much as I thought, because my opponent is also rocking a decently sized deck. Like, good God. Who did we get? Did we get any Maliss? No, we did not. Holy shit, that was unlucky as fuck. Okay. We can work with this. First off, we will oh, this is so sad. So we're going to use Druid's Worm here. We can banish a couple of things. We're going to banish one of the backup Adignissers, because she is not going to be helpful in the slightest anyway. Then we're going to sadly normal summon Template Skipper. We cannot again use any of the stuff that's in the graveyard yet, but we can get somewhere, hopefully. So we can go into Link Decoder. There we go. Then once we get Link Decoder, we can go into, oh god, we can only go into SP Little Knight, really? I think I messed up. Oh wait, no, because the other one isn't the Cybers. Yeah, I completely forgot about that little fact. Yeah, we definitely got screwed with those mills right there, and my opponent not doing anything is definitely going to hurt a lot. So this is definitely the weakest board that I could ever produce with this freaking deck. So yeah, and those were some pretty goddamn unlucky mills as well. Although we did mill Malice in Underground, which is something we sadly will not be able to get unless we get the Red Queen of Hearts into rotation. So this will sadly have to do for now. And yeah, we're just going to pass to my opponent and hope and pray that he doesn't get anywhere, but I highly doubt it. So we are going to see. Let's see what my opponent has here. Okay, they are on Crystron, so we may just be dead here. The new support have turned them into a mid lane combo deck that is a relic of its time to one of the meta decks here in current Master Duel. So definitely something. We're going to at least try to not give them too many bodies here, because Solfador is a way for them to get somewhere, and them not having bodies on board will hopefully slow them down a little. But if this doesn't help and we just die, then you're just going to see the cut to the next duel right here, right now. My opponent is a man of culture and class. He is an absolute madman in making the retrain of Power Tool fucking Dragon. I don't care that I lose here. I only care that he is a madman that is brave enough to bring jank like this to the rank ladder. We may only be in gold, but this I am proud of. Won the die roll at least, so... well, actually, no. My opponent won the die roll, so there's that. We did open with Fualos, so we can stop my opponent from doing too much here. And we do have a decent set of starters. They're all actually really damn good. Holy shit. But Dotscaper may not be the best in hand. Although, he does have an effect if he is banished. So there's also that. There are lines where you would banish Dotscaper off of one of your effects. So definitely something to keep in mind there. But yeah, our hand is all starters basically. So we can get somewhere with this. But my Fiendsmith opponent might stop me from doing too much here. So yeah, you've probably seen this kind of combo line before. They do have something that isn't really normally used in Fiendsmith decks, which is Sanct. Some people, I have heard some people swear by this, that it can work, but the fact that they say it can work means that there's a high percentage chance that it doesn't. So it's not really necessary, but I guess they're in the more pure variant of Fiendsmith, which is a decent deck, all things considered. So definitely something there. But otherwise, yeah, if you're splashing Fiendsmith with anything else, Sanct is sadly very cuttable. So my opponent's gonna combo off while I draw cards here. I highly doubt I'll be able to draw into hand traps in time to stop whatever it is they're doing. So yeah, I'll just see you guys at the start of my turn. It didn't even get to my turn because I drew into Infinite Impermanence, in which I stopped their sequence, and then once their sequence was negated, they conceded. Sometimes you just get wins like this around here. Let's move on to the next duel. Won the data at least, so let's see what kind of board I can build up. 60 card shenanigans, go! We will discard the Fualos to Signet Mining here. And hopefully we bait our opponent into doing something that they normally would not. So we get Signet Mining down, and we're going to discard the Fualos. We have triple tack to hopefully get us somewhere, but because my opponent doesn't seem to have any interaction, question mark, we're going to find out soon enough. We're gonna get Dormouse down. Do they have something for this? I mean, it's an activated effect, or rather an ignition effect, so we can get somewhere here. Alright, cool. We're gonna use Thrust at this current juncture. Sadly, we're not going to be able to do too much here, so what we're going to do instead is we can't activate it, unfortunately. So what we're going to do is we're just going to set the Infinite Impermanence from our deck, and then once we've given our deck a good shuffle, we're going to use Dormouse here. We're going to banish the March Hare, which bread and butter combos right here. Get March Hare, then we're gonna get March Hare back. I have considered bumping this up to 3 copies, but you don't really need more than 2 copies of March Hare. So the 2 copies are going to be more than enough, and they're all very searchable anyway. So you don't need to do too much when it comes to these. So now we get Template Skipper. We're gonna put him there. Yes, they're going to be drawing a lot of cards with my combos, but I think we're going to have to live with it. So we're going to banish the Dormouse, activate their effect when they're banished, and then let's see where that gets us. Okay, cool. There we go. They draw a card again, and then we can just go into Heart Scripter, surprisingly. we can just go into Heart Scripter, or we can go into SP Little Knight. But we're gonna overextend here. We're gonna overextend. So this, and this. We will be protected from Ash Blossom with this thing anyway, so we're gonna be fine. So we get Red Ransom, then the usual Red Ransom, and then Chain Block using Link Decoder. My opponent is going to expect Appaloosa here, but we don't have Appaloosa anymore. We are playing in the future, my friend. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna put it here because we can. There we go, Red Ransom. We're going to use Malice in Underground. There we go. And then we could just go into SP Little Knight here because we don't really have too much, unfortunately. But I guess we just keep going. I'm gonna make my opponent draw a lot of cards anyway, so we might as well see how far I can go. And they have not interacted with me, by the way, in spite of everything. So we're going to banish the White Rabbit, then activate the White Rabbit. And I'm just gonna see how far my opponent's gonna let me do this. So I mean, if they have a board breaker in hand, then kudos to them. But otherwise, yeah, I'm just gonna combo off. But okay, this is where they deem it too far, which is interesting. They're going to try and mill. I'm assuming they're gonna mill themselves here, because they could hit their non-bricks essentially. They banish the Scream, which is interesting choice. Now we get actually we're gonna get MTPO7 because we'll be having a lot of stuff that is that's going to be important here. Do we do this now? Surprisingly, we could, and we still have enough material on board anyway. So yeah, I think we do this now. We're going to allow the effect to resolve anyway, so yeah, this is going to be fine. Wait, Red Ransom hasn't been banished yet, so oh wait, no, if we do that, we won't be able to banish the Tearlaments Kashtira. So yeah, we'll sadly have to banish the White Rabbit here, but as a result, we'll be able to banish the thing as well. So I think we'll be fine on that front. And we also have a way to banish whatever they mill over anyway, so I think we'll be fine. Okay, we get Chessicat. Yes, I would love to banish a card. We will banish the Tearlaments Kashtira so that they will have a harder time getting to some of their material. Okay, so they got Shiren. Okay, now we are going to Suliek. Okay, cool. Ooh, we can't get that in the chain. That's interesting. Oh, right, because they don't control the monster. Right, I forgot about that little thing. Unfortunate. So yeah, my opponent's gonna. I'm gonna sadly have to allow my opponent to let that through. Forgot that they only become quick effects if my opponent controls a monster. So that's definitely on me right there. I don't really see Tearlaments as much anymore. I do encounter Branded a lot, so there is that. But at least to see Tearlaments, you know, still kicking about, even after all the nerfs that has been done to the deck, it fascinates me. So okay, they're gonna have Kaleido Heart here. Yeah, that will shuffle. I'm assuming Red Ransom into the deck, but that means I can do this. I'll banish their. Oh, hey, that's sneaky of you. You have a Fiendsmith in the graveyard. So let me get rid of that. Thank you, good sir. And we still have a way to get into White Binder, surprisingly. Ooh, they have Herald of the Orange Light. Okay, cool. I'm assuming they have the, yeah, they have one of the Ishizu retrains up there. So we'll sadly have to use this. And we're going to banish the Chessicat that we have in hand. So we still have a way to get into White Binder in spite of everything. Or, you know, we can just summon it again, which is always a thing that we can do. So we do this, and they draw another card, unfortunately. Then Pizza Hut is sadly negated. Then Kaleido Heart shuffles Red Ransom. Then we go into Chessicat here. I am literally just making my opponent draw a lot of cards because they would prefer their stuff to be in the graveyard anyway. So yeah, I'm just gonna see how far we go from here. We can't do anything with whatever is on board anyway, so we're just going to do our thing here. We're going to go into White Binder. So 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Excuse me. White Binder, and I'm assuming they're going to use the Keldo here, because why not? Why wouldn't they? We've sadly already exhausted everything here, so we're just going to do this and this and this. We're going to force the issue, and then we'll just hope and pray that this gets us somewhere. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're dead anyway. Oh, they allow it to happen, which is interesting. Now we'll just try something, unless my opponent drew into negation, which is very, very likely. There we go, the second Herald of Orange Light, and yeah, we are definitely dead here. They'll just somehow manage to get a board down. They even have a small like Gem Knight engine in here for some weird reason, because some of them are fairies and they're not rocks. But yeah, opponents got this. I wanted to push as hard as I could, and lo and behold, I mean, if in Yu-Gi-Oh, if you make your opponent draw a lot of cards, they're going to eventually find a way to interact with your bullshit. Let's move on to the next duel. Lost a die roll, but my opponent made me go first, so my opponent could be up to no good here. We can go into our regular combos, but if... well, I mean, we're just gonna see if my opponent allows something to happen here. So we do this, and then opponent allows that to happen. So, then this, and then we do this. Oh, opponent's allowing a lot of stuff to happen. So let's see how far we go here. So we get Chessy Cat down. Then again, my opponent made me go first, so they could be up to no good here. Then we do this, then we draw cards from our deck, then we use White Rabbit, and then we'll do this, and then we'll get the other spell in the deck. Okay, opponent is allowing way too many things to go through, so it's very likely that they have a board breaker in hand. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna combo off until I get to my end board. So I'll see you guys there. Okay, we're here at my end board, and this is the best possible thing I could have accomplished with a 60-card deck. We have Firewall Dragon, we have White Binder and Red Ransom, and then we also have Allied Code Talker at Ignister. We are going to use Dominus Impulse on that thing, because why not? We still have like 3 points of negation here. We can still do a lot in spite of everything, so yeah, Nightmare Pain is not nothing, but I think we should negate that. But the bigger problem here are the monsters. So that's just the way things work with Duel here. I don't know why it took me so long to figure out what that word is, but we're going to use MTP07 here. We're going to search the last copy of March Hare, and then we are going to banish the Nightmare Pain. There we go. And they did not draw a single card the entire time, so they just watched me, you know, jerk off, basically. And yeah, about right that they conceded there, unfortunately, because we still have like 1, 2, 3, and potentially 4 points of interaction here, because we can banish stuff out of the graveyard. So yeah, let's move on to the end screen. Okay, we're here at the end screen, and yeah, Maliss will still likely be around in spite of all of the nerfs done to the deck. And I mean, in the 60-card build, you can afford to actually just cut the Lancia and replace it with something else instead, because Lord knows that you'll be able to find your Saki 1 of tech card against Maliss in specific. But the deck has been nerfed to basically be manageable now, comparative to what it was way back when. But Maliss will still stick around in spite of everything, because it's just such a well-designed archetype, in the sense that every card leads to another card that will allow you to combo further and further and further. And yeah, pretty much like Tearlaments, it will still be around. You'll still see it every once in a while, and you will be caught off guard every time they show up. So yeah, still be wary of Maliss. Still pack your deck with Artifact Lancia, because they will be sticking around for as long as they keep printing really good Cybers cards. So yeah, if you guys like what you saw, hit like, comment, subscribe, and share this among your friends. And until next time, toodles.